Meta has just released a new tool that will give us a glimpse into the future of what advertising could look like. They've released a new generative AI tool that helps you build creatives without having to create anything. The cool thing about this tool is it allows anybody to create advertisements without having them being held back by not having the assets they need to advertise. And it also helps other advertisers that are, veteran advertisers to quickly create creatives and also have this ability to create a ton of different new things for their audience to test with. Now, it's very new and there's a lot of things that need to be fine-tuned to make this a product that will probably take over what advertisers are doing already. It's a really cool glimpse into what it could look like when you talk about the future of advertising. So to put it simply, it's really just a AI generative tool that will create a image for your ad, a static image. This is only for static images. It's not for video or anything like that. So all the video editors out there still have jobs. But what it simply does is it allows you to create images for your ad, static images, very quickly without having to jump into some kind of editor tool and create images for the ads that you're running. And now, before I dive into this tool, there are a couple of things that I found while using it that could impede somebody trying to run ads. So the first thing, it is only static images. So you can't do this with catalog images or videos, say carousel, or like GIFs and stuff like that. So it has to be a static image. The other downfall is you can't use this for Advantage Plus shopping campaigns. So that's another thing that you cannot use this with. Another thing too that we found out is you cannot use this for placements where you're adjusting the size of the placement for specific placements. So for example, if you're using a square image, you can't adjust that image to work full screen on Reels and portrait mode. So you have to keep with the original square image. You can't make adjustments to that image. So there are some limitations to this right now, but the cool thing is it's a start and it's going to be really cool where this takes us in the future. So I'm going to dive into the tool here in a second, but a couple things that stand out to me is some really interesting things that could end up happening here. And they're not there yet, but I think everybody kind of has this on their mind. When it comes down to testing, it gets really complicated with all the different variables that go into an ad. And now if you've seen Advantage Plus Creative, there's a lot of different triggers you can already do that you can optimize the ad with. So you can optimize with different audio, different overlays, different headlines, different copy on it. So there's already tweaks you can do to the creative right now with just the image that you share with Meta that already creates a bunch of different variations. Well, now put a layer on top of that. Now we're gonna allow Meta to create all the creative that they wanna try to create with AI, which you kind of lose control over. So there's some things there that they have to work out. But now if they allow AI to just keep optimizing images and just keep accelerating that without having any intervention from a media buyer, that's where things get crazy. You no longer would have to manually just put an image in, test a different color, swap it, test a different color when you're doing small tests, variable tests. But now you're talking about different crazy variable tests where you're testing different background colors, images, products, angles, lighting, different models, and the list goes on and on and on. So where I see this going in the future is simply just becoming an image optimization feature where let Meta take the wheels and just keep pumping different creatives in there until it finds a good match that works well with your audience, and even then continue optimizing on it. But right now it's simply just an image generation tool where it'll create some images for you. You can run them in an ad set, test it out, see if it works. If you find something that performs, maybe you can pull that image and then reiterate on it. But there are a lot of limitations right now, but the direction of this is really, really cool. So without further ado, let's jump into the ads manager so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we are in a test ad set that I created. As you can see, everything stays the same within the ad set. So all these settings are all the same here. Nothing's changed here. It's when you get to the ad level is where things get a little bit interesting. So I've done some different assets. Some are just pictures of me. Some are just some ads that we created, and then some are just product ads. So they all kind of have a different use case here. So let's start with ad with myself in it. I call this the neon ad because we're using neon copy in it. So again, everything remains the same on the ad level. Remember, you can only use a single image, so we uploaded an image. So that's a requirement. You have to upload an image to give Facebook something to start with. Same thing, you add the text, so you can add text variations as well. I've done some testing to see if different text would result in a different image, and that didn't seem to have an effect on the ad itself. So I don't think the copy is being used in this AI generation. So anyways, we get down here and we have this Advantage Plus Creative. So before, I've already created the images. Before it says turn it on, so there's a button that says turn it on. I'll show you an example of that here in a second. And then it creates images for you. So I'm assuming this is a headshot of myself. So I'm assuming it's pulling an image of me, and I guess I look like, I don't know, a hipster Jesus or something here, but it pulled an image from me, and it looks like it seemed like it generated something. So a little eye-opening that, I mean, like makes you look older than I thought I was, and more attractive, I guess, too. But now we have a bunch of headshots. I don't know how well this will work with the offer that we're trying to run here. This is basically a low ticket offer for a course. So I don't see this working well with that, but this is what it came up with. So we can simply just save this, and then we can publish it and run it as a test. This is an interesting one. I want to share this with you because this one starts getting into ad policies, and I don't know which direction this will go with Facebook because AI has taken the reins on this one. I think you'll still be responsible for what creative is being put out there, but I'm sharing you this one because I had no intent to like do anything to like create an interesting ad here. But what happened is when we, so here, let me just show you the original ad here, just so everybody can see it. So it's just what we call these quadrant ads, before after, showing a woman spent countless hours creating a course, finally pay for it, after found a high converting offer without building anything. So it kind of pulls off the Drake ad that people have seen, the meme. So anyways, this is what it came up with when it used that image to generate one. For some reason not working. Let me go back. Okay, so I wanted to show you this real quick too. This is basically what the screen you come up with. You have image featuring objects. So for product ads, this is probably what you use. Images inspired by your ad creative. So this is images that if you're not selling a product and you need them to like inspire an ad, this is what you would use for that piece. So this one, we're not selling a product itself. So we have a person in it. So let's check it out. And this is where things get interesting. So typically I don't think these, maybe they would pass on Meta, but obviously showing more than we would want to show in ads. And, you know, this was a Meta generated AI image. So I'm assuming you're still responsible for the ad that you put out there. So if they make something that doesn't go by their guidelines, you might have to be cognizant of that. So I just want to share that with you. I thought that was interesting. This is not the image that I was going for when I created the meme, but apparently this is the image that they thought would work well, the AI that thought that when they created it. So that was one use case. Now let's go into use case for product. I'm an outdoor guy, so I thought I'd use some outdoor gear. This is just basically a headlamp. I simply uploaded a image of the product right here. So there's no, let's see if I can find an image of it. So there's no background, nothing. It's just product on a white background right here. So very basic. And then went ahead and had it generate some AI images, and it came up with a bunch of different ones with different backgrounds. You can also add text overlays, and you can edit these too if you want. If you don't like what it says here, you know, headlamp. And again, when I did this, it didn't seem to change the backgrounds on these. We'll see if it does it here. It doesn't appear to have changed the background when you change the copy. So anyways, we got the headlamp. So what's cool about this is after you get those images and you go to this advanced preview, just like dynamic ads, you have a ton of different variations now. I think that's what's going to be really cool is the ability to move really fast and testing a bunch of different variations without having to go into a Photoshop, Canva type tool, create a bunch of stuff, pull it back in, do that back and forth. And you could quickly just right here, just quickly duplicate, boom, you got another ad, and you can drop a different product in. So this is one thing I want to show you too. I found when you add the same product in, these all have to be original, by the way. When I add the same product in, I did not find it creating new ads for me. So here's a button you get, try it out. Again, you can choose image featuring object, or you can do image inspired by your ad. We're going to do image featuring an object. They want images with a solid or transparent background work best. See, create the exact same images with that same image. So I don't know if it's something that's cached in the system with that product, or that's just what it's coming up with. But unfortunately, you can't use this. It seems like you can't use the same exact image. You have to like upload a different image to create new creatives. Otherwise, you're just, this is a limitation I think that needs to be fixed really quickly, because I would love to test a bunch of different background images with the same product without having to re-upload a new image. But let's throw these sunglasses in here and we'll see what it does here. Again, I copied these campaigns. I didn't change the copy on them because I did test that and it did not seem to change the creative. I'm just gonna write the name before I do it. And then we'll go down here, try it out, image, and we have our images of sunglasses. You know, I thought maybe they would try to throw it on somebody's face or something like that, but not doing anything like that. Just really just putting different backgrounds on it. Still a really fast, quick way to test different image variations, especially if you don't have the time or capacity to like pull all these into a different tool, replace all the backgrounds, throw them back in. I know AI can do a lot of that now too in other tools, but now I can just run simply in Facebook. And now we have, again, a ton of different variations to run now. Okay, let's go into another example of, this is a picture me at the Grand Canyon. Again, it's basically a picture of myself, so I feel like it's trying to like, you know, create an AI image similar to the person in the picture. Feel like it doesn't look like me, but maybe it's just because I got a different perspective on what I look like. I definitely don't have that much hair. Or as dark as hair, but create these two images. What's interesting is, and it did, you know, it's the Grand Canyon picture, so it is putting a mountain in the background, so I think it's recognizing that. What I did is I duped this and it created the exact same images. So it seems like if you want it to create new images, you have to upload some different images. Actually, let's do this really quickly. I mean, I can just grab another one. Let's do another one with me. Again, I'm an outdoor guy, so a lot of outdoor people. Let's do another one with the Grand Canyon, just see what happens here. Different picture. What I could test is bring in the exact same image and see if it produces different options. Try it out. Generate. Oh, and there you go. Another picture of the Grand Canyon. It's funny, I had a hoodie type shirt on, so it shows the one with the hoodie again. You can turn these text overlays off. It just basically drops down to 2 different ones. Not sure how well these perform. From our experience, ones that are very AI generated looking images typically don't perform that well. But something you could simply just run a test on it, see how it performs. It definitely makes you better looking with lots more hair, so that's kind of cool. Let's do one more product one. So this is a solo stove. Again, I just grabbed an image off the website, just dropped it in. This is one where I could test this out. Let me quickly dupe this one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in the exact same image to see if it will give us a different background to the image. Again, I think that's one of the limitations is it'd be cool to be able to just keep duping and coming up with new backgrounds versus getting the same one every time. I think these are different. These definitely look different. Let me see. No, I think they're the same. So it came up with the same ones. So I think that is definitely a big limitation. Is you're not able to create a bunch of different backgrounds from the same image. So that's kind of walking you through the tool. I do think there's going to be some limitations when it first comes out, but for anybody that has to create ads, don't have the time or resources to pump out a bunch of different creatives, this could be a really quick way for you to put out a bunch of different creatives on your ads and get some tests run versus just running with one product image and not knowing if it could perform better using different creatives. I think the cool thing about this is the future of advertising is definitely going to be a situation where I'm just going to upload some images, especially with products, upload some product images. They're going to spit out some images, run them, and then Meta can decide which ones are performing and maybe rise them to the top and then eliminate ones that aren't working and bring in new ones, right? And just keep that going. And ultimately, AI will just figure out what image performs the best, and then it just keeps running. And you don't have to manually just remove an image, put a new one in, pause an ad set, start another one. That whole cycle of that going all week, just nonstop testing could be eliminated, and then you could just allow the algorithm to find out what works and what doesn't work. Obviously, there's a lot of nuances that you got brand, and you want to make sure that your brand is being put out there and to make sure it's cohesive with everything else you're pushing out there. But the big thing here is this is just the beginning, and I could definitely see how fast this could accelerate. The future of advertising could change pretty drastically. What I do think is we still need media buyers. Basically, let's just say this gets really, really good to the point that even the big companies are like, dude, we're just going to trust Meta with the creatives because they're so good at it, and let their tool just keep optimizing them until we find one that performs really, really good. If that happens, what essentially would happen is just it creates a level playing field on the advertising level. You're still going to need people managing everything. There's still be levers to pull. There's stuff beyond ads that have to be managed, and there's people on the advertising team that would have to help manage that. But what it'll do is it'll bring everybody onto a level playing field. And then guess what? The next thing you have to focus on. You have to focus on product, service, customer service. Putting out the best possible product or service in your team versus every other company out there. So, on a human level, that's where companies will start getting engaged at the human level, and not so much on, does your website look cool? Are you writing the right ad copy? Are you doing all these things right? It's going to be really just, do you have a great company? Do you have a great system? Do you have great people behind it? If you do, we'll buy from you. If not, we'll just go to the competitor. So your brand gets so important. So why Apple can charge thousands of dollars for a tablet that probably costs less than $5 to make, and the knockoffs can't get even close to $1,000. You charge $300, whatever, $200 for them. It's because of the brand. It's because of that Apple logo on the back of it. So it basically creates a level playing field, and it basically, I guess, raises all boats. So this is really exciting, something that came from Meta today, generative AI, and I see this accelerating really quickly with a lot of different iterations in the future. So appreciate you listening in, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more newsworthy type stuff like this when it comes to Meta and advertising in general.